Hello and welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Eric, joined with this one.
Yeah, Karen.
Bring me some more General Hospital, 1982, January 25th to February 3rd. Time me roll the credits and we'll chat. Before we do, I did look up why Jeannie left. I know she was having like some personal issues, but I don't think it was that. There was a ton of things going on in 1982. There was rumors that she left to do other things, but I believe she wanted equal pay with Anthony Geary, and that is
That
what
happens a lot.
ultimately she didn't get. It's 1982, and nobody's going to give you money if you're a woman, so she rolled out.
Well, she had problems with that over the years because also later on she wanted the same vacation time that Tony Geary got, and she also got denied on that.
Yeah,
but I think that was in the 90s.
That was in the 90s and even the thousands, I think too.
Yeah, she's just been working her tail off. She's one half of a super couple, and yet she can't get the same money or benefits as the other half of her super couple. That doesn't make sense.
Nope. And yeah, like you would think like it was the most watched wedding on television, the most watched soap, I believe, at the time. I think it's like the highest rated soap ever. That one episode.
And she's one of the most iconic characters. Even when she's on by herself, she's a powerhouse. So why can't she have
You would think they would have fought to keep her ass. Now, maybe maybe her personal issues were a problem, and they were probably like, all right, how about let's let her go, like, whatever. I don't know. It's not 1982 anymore. If anybody out there is watching this,
I have a feeling it's just
from behind the scenes, let us know.
I think it's plain old sexism, as usual. That's the general culprit in these scenarios.
Yeah. Also, I wasn't sure. So we were watching, Joe Kelly's on with Heather Weber. I wasn't sure if we R.I.P. Doug Sheehan. So I was going to do that because I couldn't remember because it was so long ago.
I don't remember if we did, but we can do it anyway because.
So rest in peace, Douglas Sheehan passed away months ago. At this point, played Joe Kelly from 79 to 82. I believe he was nominated for a couple Emmys for the role. He was also Ben in Knots Landing from 83 to 88. And he was in the Charlie's Angels episode, and his name was Ben as well in that episode.
Double Bens.
And he also guest starred in Passions in 2002 for a handful of episodes, I believe. He wasn't on there super long.
I never watched Passions, but I sure loved their commercials.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right? Timmy and all of that crazy stuff.
I want to watch all that eventually, someday.
Same. I'm the same. Maybe we can watch. We'll start watching that.
I would. If you're interested in us watching Passions, just so you can see how I react to that, let me know.
So I watched like the first 6 months, and back when it was on, and then I just stopped for some reason because it was just a lot of soaps. I watch a lot of soaps, as you do.
Yeah. No, I don't. I just watch General Hospital.
and
every decade.
And then I tried again like a few years ago, and I did the same thing. I watched about 6 months worth of episodes, and just because I watched too many damn soaps. So yeah, but maybe one of our soap nights we can do that.
Well, that would be fun.
Also, want to rest in peace again, Leslie Charlton. I did mention this in the 1993 one with Derek. So a little bit more about her that I don't know was discussed, that she became recurring in 2010. I don't know if she was forced recurring or if it was kind of mutual, because I know she was having issues that go back that far. Because I think that's when she fell.
I don't think so, because around then, like when they started getting rid of Quartermains, like when Lila died, then Edward died, then they got rid of Alan, like right there, like it seemed like they were pushing a lot of the Quartermains to the back burner, except for like, I think like then they killed AJ, like they wiped out a lot of Quartermains very quickly. Emily died, like it was, I don't know.
You think they were just trying to eliminate Quartermaines
I don't know.
permanently?
I think different writers like different characters, and their focus pushes to different sides. Like you have the ones that really love like the Scorpios versus, and then all of a sudden you don't see Scorpios for 3 years because you have different writers. So I don't think she wanted to go. I mean, I would be surprised if she wanted to go to reoccurring.
Yeah, because that was what, how many years ago? 15 at this point.
Yeah, I know she fell at one point. She tripped over one of her
She
dogs,
did.
and I don't know. She was injured then, but I think that was much later.
Now, I don't know if it was a rumor too, but I thought she fell off a horse or like something happened with a horse with her
I know
too.
you
But
said that
I could
before,
be
but
wrong.
I never heard that. I'm not really. I know she has fallen before, but like I know she tripped over a dog because she said it in an article.
Okay,
I could probably find that, but like
and that's
no, I don't think so. I think they rotated people in and out of like full time status. Like there
right.
were characters like Ned goes back and forth between being on contract and off, like he's just there and then not there. So I don't know. I think it depends on the writing team and who they're focusing on at the moment.
I think Ned's off because he's on days two, and I don't think you can have. But he might have like a certain contract, like a different
Um,
kind that keeps him on both.
I
But I
don't
don't know
know. Like I tell
because he's
everyone
on
all the
both.
time, I don't pay attention to the behind the scenes because like it's
Right.
I try not to be too involved in their personal lives because those are in fact their personal lives. Um,
True.
I just think that watching this week and seeing Leslie Charlson, it's hard. She's such an incredible actress, and I love her so
Yeah.
much. And she kills
He's
it this week. She just kills
she
it.
does, but she is quite an asshole. But
No, she's
aren't they all?
amazing.
She's
Shut
an
up.
asshole. She's
She
an
is not.
asshole.
She is
Not the
not. Lies.
actress. Not the actress. Monica
Lies.
Quartermaine.
Monica Quartermaine is amazing, and you're wrong.
All right, Scott, you
Everything
love her.
she does is perfect. Yeah, her and Scott.
So a little bit more about her. I don't know if you guys had mentioned it, but she was nominated for daytime Emmys in 1980, 82, 83, and 95. Um, she was also nominated for a Soap Digest Award, which is kind of funny because they're all opposite. They're all different years. So in the Soap Opera Digest Award, she was nominated in 86, 88, and 90. So I'm like, wow, she did a lot in all of these years. So they did write for her a good amount of years, at least.
She has mostly consistent good writing. Like her dialogue is always snappy and fun.
Oh, an outstanding supporting actress in 1993 for Soap Digest as well. So yeah, I looked that up because there was a lot of Monica in this one, with that mansion and all that jazz, which was fun. So we'll get into our chat. Richard Simmons is back
So young,
doing
so cute.
doing the exercise class, and he's worried about Laura too,
Hmm.
as the whole town is, because she is the best. Um, Better than that mangy Monica Quartermaine.
Hey, I'll kill you.
Um, he gets on Gail for not sweating enough because her mind is somewhere else. Obviously, it's on Laura and Scotty probably because he causes a lot of drama in their lives. I
Nah,
do like that she
perfect.
tells them off. Finally, it was great.
Hmm.
Leslie tries to wake the hit by a car. Laura. That's Laura number two. I'm
Three.
calling her.
All right, is she not Laura
Three.
number
You're
three?
right. You're right. It's Laura number three. I'm sorry. There's three. It's confusing. Um, Laura number two is hiding somewhere. I guess she's in town, but we don't
They're
know.
in
And
a
no,
loft somewhere in Port Charles. Like they're just in a loft.
yeah,
It seems like a place that maybe the photographer rented because he's basically hiding her there.
yeah. This is such a bizarre storyline. It's
I
very
don't think we know
strange.
enough about what's going on
We
yet
don't.
to understand, and it gets weirder this week. So
It's really weird. Jackie goes to see Luke about Laura. She has a note or whatever. I think is this when he's a dickhead to her?
this is so confusing to me. Like the way Luke is played a lot of the times is like he has a personality disorder because he was so sweet and understanding and kind with her, and then
Right.
I
The night
get
before.
right, and then I get why he was a little mad because she woke him up and came into his private room to wake him up. And they're not even friends. That was weird. But then after that, he was just like, "Lady, I don't need your help. I don't want to help you. Get away from me." And I was just like, "What?
Right.
What is this?"
I know, I felt the same way. I also thought of you. I'm like, you know what? You're like the Mary Ryan in this situation as she was with her brother Frank.
I am.
Luke
I
is my
am.
hero. Luke is my hero.
I
Now he's like
never
a
said he was
fucking,
my hero. I said he was my one of my favorite characters. And
and he's a
rewatching him,
monster.
he's inconsistent. His writing is incredibly inconsistent. It's startling to me how inconsistent his writing is.
Eh,
I think I
yeah,
think I think he has a personality disorder. It
it
just seems like it.
it really does. Like it's drastic because like how sweet he was with Jackie the day before, it's almost like a bipolar because he's total opposite today. And she's
Yeah.
still, they're both Lauras are still missing, so it makes no sense why he would be a dick to her.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me. I was actually kind of shocked by it and confused. And then when Robert came in and Robert just kind of took her away and started helping her, I'm like, Robert is consistent. Like he's always the same. But like
He is, yeah, you're right.
Luke has fits of temper. He has confusing moments that he backs off of later on. Like it's like he's angry. He's okay. He's helping her. He hates her plan. He loves her plan. Like it's like I don't know. It almost feels like how did Laura like live with him, because that would be so confusing all the
Yeah,
time. But he was so
right,
much more consistent during the Ice Princess. He was like literally the same all the time. And now he's
right.
just I don't know if it's the writers. What's happening? I don't understand.
Like it's like they have five different writers for Luke alone, and they're just like,
They don't
do
talk to each
this,
other.
do that. This week we're getting this Luke, and you're like, what? What's happening?
But listen, it does showcase the fact that Jackie came on like a hurricane and was super badass.
She was.
Also smart.
So Jackie says that she doesn't think her Laura wrote the note. Robert meets Jackie on her way out. Um, Leslie and Leslie is suspicious about the Lauras.
Mm-hmm.
Laura talks to Laura two talks
Templeton.
to Mel about being stalked, and she's all upset and scared and blah blah blah. And he doesn't seem to care
No,
because he's
not at
like,
all.
there's some kind of project that's involved. It's
They're working on a project with that David Gray person,
David Gray, who's a creep.
but they
Who's the
don't
creep?
say what the project is, and they
No,
don't
I don't
say
think
what
we're.
it involves.
I don't think we'll find out what the project is. And if we do, I'd be surprised because what could it possibly be? Gail talks to Monica about the Q's mansion being on sale. She's like, "Are you doing this out of spite?" Monica gets all mad at her, and
Because
then she apologizes.
she's shrinking her the entire time, and she's like, "Oh, you're supposed to be my friend. You want me to bill you for this?" Like she gets rude about it.
I don't feel that Gail was shrinking her.
She wasn't.
Um, yeah, but I feel like a friend would have done that as well because she. How else would she say it? You know what I
I
mean?
think she
Because
should have
then,
said she instead of trying to lead Monica to the conclusion she wants Monica to have, she should have just said, "You're still in love with Ellen, you dumbass," like because that's what's happening. And instead, she's trying to lead her to water. And like I could see Monica knows she's right. That's half of why she's mad. But
right.
like that's why she's like, "Bill me." Like she gets mad
Well, yeah, she gets mad. She apologizes and then gets mad again and then goes off.
because Gail goes back to doing it immediately. She starts trying to lead her again, and
And
Monica
I guess,
gets mad
and
because
I guess
Gail's right.
Gail's upset with the Monica situation, and then Scotty comes in, and then Gail goes off on Scotty. um,
She basically calls him a creeper. It was so funny.
yeah. What he did to what he did to Laura was inexcusable.
Well, it was weird.
Yeah, that's when he wore her underwear on his head. I like to say, but it was ripping up her
Scotty
nightgown.
also has two different writers, Ernest Scotty Writer and creepy weirdo Scotty Writer, and they don't talk either.
No, see, I feel Scotty's consistent. I feel like
Yeah, he is. He is.
yeah, he's the same, but I think that's just his personality.
Yeah, it's weird.
But with
He does
Luke, it doesn't
impulsive
make
weird
sense to
things.
us.
He does impulsive weird things, and then he tries to justify why he did the weird impulsive thing. Like, but
Right.
it makes sense that he did it because he's just obsessive. Whereas like
Yeah.
Luke, I don't understand where he's coming from most of the time.
So I guess in the hospital cafeteria, Monica officially apologizes to Gail for the third time. Leslie joins them. They talk about the Lauras. Um, Luke's a dick to Jackie, which he was basically
The whole
in
time.
the beginning. Yeah, the whole time. He saw Laura yelling for help and didn't help her, and she punches him. I loved
He
it.
kind, he kind of earned that punch, to be honest.
He totally earned that punch.
He could have explained what happened in a way that didn't sound like he abandoned this woman in her time of need.
Yeah, because it totally sounded like he had better things to do than to help this woman.
Yeah.
I was confused at what happened to Laura too, because we saw her in the apartment, but then we thought something happened to her outside, but I guess not.
They made it look like Laura 2 was Laura 3. So we were off base and didn't know which one was hit by the car. It was very
Yeah,
confusing. I think that's intentionally so because we're trying to figure out what is this Laura vendetta and how many blonde girls are named Laura? How popular was the name Laura in the 80s?
I
Well,
guess
in
this is.
the 60s when they were all named.
I'm guessing the project is called Project Laura or
Project
Laura.
Murder all
Project
blonde Laura's within a
Murder Blonde
500
Laura.
mile radius. I don't know. It's a weird
Um,
project. I don't understand it, but here we go.
yeah. Um, Steve and Rudy talk about Anne.
It's Dr.
He wants her
Bradshaw for those of you who
he
aren't talking about the Bionic Woman.
he wants her suspended, and Steve's like, "No, I will not do that." Of course, Rudy thinks that it's because that it's his niece or whatever. He's like, "Listen, I treat all my nurses the same. I love all my nurses. I care about them." He tells it like it is. I'm like, "Go, Steve. Stand up for them all."
Steve was amazing because Steve was like,
He was. He was great.
I take care of my nurses. And I won't allow you to come in here and have a vendetta against one of my nurses. And he's like, oh, it's because you're a niece. And he's like, no. All my nurses get the same treatment. And that's nice because back then the doctors didn't really stand up for nurses like that. They were like,
And and when we get to it with the Audrey shit, I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
yeah,
Audrey?
I don't know what's happening because I don't. Maybe he did when he was younger, but does Steve feel like the type of person that would cheat?
No, no. The way he talks, even like to that woman, like he was nice to her, but he wasn't like flirty in any way. I didn't feel
And
like he was just like,
he
"This is
mentioned
my
his wife
business."
immediately, and he was like, "You got to meet my wife while you're here. She was supposed to meet me for coffee. I'm worried about her." Like he was immediately concerned about where Audrey was.
Right. Well, we'll get to this in a few minutes because I think that's another episode or two. But it felt like it came out of nowhere. I was just
It
like, "What
did.
the?"
It was shocking. I didn't know what was
Yeah.
going on, but I did like that Audrey was front and center because I love her.
So for those that don't know, Steve and Audrey will have problems in a few episodes. Anyway, Steve defends Anne and tells Rudy he's picking on Anne. Rudy rolls out because he gets all mad. Um, that gray dude,
David.
is oh wait what? I was following. He was following both Lauras. I think they were saying. I think they came up with this thing of him because Luke with finding them and all that.
What? What are you saying?
Luke with Luke, Robert, and they were all like investigate. I didn't like really pay attention to it too much because I was like, it's kind of the same shit over and over
No,
again.
they were trying to figure out why all these
Right.
things were happening with all three of the Lauras. Now, they're not saying that David was following all of them. They don't know that. They're trying to figure out if David was following all of them. So they went back to get the airline information because they wanted to know if they could find the other Lauras on the different flights and
Well,
what
they
flights
split up
David was on. Yeah, they split up.
because Luke was doing that, and I liked. Was it Robert's idea to call or no Jackie's?
Jackie's.
Right, to do
So
the calls.
Jackie wrote a script, and the script was for all of the friends. So obviously Lila's involved, Emma, Slick, all of those B
Fucking
characters. There's
Emma.
so much. I'll leave Emma alone. She's dumb. It's not her fault. They should never have trusted her with that. But they have like Tiffany and all them. They're all in a room. They're at a booking. They're at a laundromat after dark, which is actually a bookies. And they all have to call every David Gray in the phone book. And they try to tell them that they caused a problem on an airline going to Boston, and they're going to be sued if they were the David that was on that flight, to kind of get that David to say, I wasn't on that flight, or you're so dumb, like he says, I was on the New York flight. So they're all calling different people trying to figure it out. This is a brilliant plan, but it's a time consuming plan. And they just
Right.
spend all night calling. And Luke is the one that goes to New York to investigate the photographer.
And Emma gets a hold of the right one.
On the second time through, yeah. Because
And
he
then
doesn't answer the first time.
what happened to the papers? They got wet or something, or I
She
forget.
she got so excited that she tipped her coffee over, and it ruined the paper, so they couldn't read the number. And because she called so many numbers, she didn't remember. It happens very quickly.
It almost looked like Emma was involved the way they shot it. Like she looked suspicious at one part to me. Like I was just like,
I can't imagine Emma is capable of anything, to be honest.
which is what would have been awesome if she was
Yeah.
involved.
But I
Because it
do
would have been
love Emma, and
a twist.
I felt bad for her because like everyone wanted to yell at her, but it would be like yelling at a puppy or a kitten. Like it's just a mean thing to do.
Yeah, even Jackie. I thought Jackie was going to go off, but she actually didn't. I was
There's no
surprised.
point in it. It's there. It happened. It's over. There's no reason.
Right.
It was a good plan
So
though.
Luke talks to Leslie about what's going on. Jackie and Robert search for Gray. Mel um, calls for David to see what's up. That's David Gray because he's involved with this project, and
Mhm.
I guess he's not being told everything either because he doesn't
He
seem to
doesn't
know
know.
shit.
No, he only knows part one of the project. Is what
Yeah,
he said earlier. Even though we know no parts of the project.
Lee goes off on Scotty because he basically had it with him.
Yeah, he
So
rips him
Scotty
a
gets
new
told
one
off. Yeah.
by both his
Um,
parents. Yeah, he gets crapped on.
Laura's afraid of David that he'll kill them. Laura too.
Templeton.
um, Mel mentions an experiment. Um, Leslie sits with the third Laura. That's how that one ends.
Is this the one where Laura is just she's afraid of David, but she also wants to go get food, or does it happen in the next episode?
I
She
think
just
that's the
keeps
next
wanting,
one.
yeah, she keeps wanting to go shopping or leave because he keeps reassuring her that David's not a threat. So she's like, "Well, I'm going to go leave the house," and he's like, "I don't want you to leave the house." What?
Yeah,
What's happening, Mel? Like, what's
I
going on?
know, dude. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So the next episode, Heather and Joe are being cute. I guess since they got back together, they're all lovey-dovey's. I think she just wants to basically bang all day. I guess this might be John Stamos's first episode as Blackie.
It is. I think I've
Because
never seen him before.
they're doing things at the sports center, and he's of course the angry gang member.
I hate the Sports Center storyline. It's so boring.
I feel like the '80s gang member story was in every single soap opera.
Well, gang issues was a big problem in the 80s
Yeah,
for Los Angeles and
because
New York.
on days it happens 1983. This is '82, so it's all these gang things on every soap.
The themes of the mid 80s are going to be working out, everybody wearing leotards and working out. Exercise places pop up everywhere. Gang members and community centers. That's like the big themes.
Even remember Pam got her own aerobic center for like 5 episodes. Bobby bought it for her own Dallas.
And basically, Breaking and Breaking 2 and all those movies were all about saving the community center.
Bringing us back. Tiffany, Robert, Jackie are all looking for Laura's. Lila goes to Rose's with Stella. So we get a good Lila appearance. I think this is where Lila becomes involved with all the calling and stuff like that.
She's
which I thought was
funny.
fun.
She just does not care about class, like, or society or anything, because she's best friends with like the poorest people and the richest people in town, and she looks at them all like they're the exact same people.
Well, it's almost like she just recently became friends with the poor people because, like, she never went. So remember, she didn't go to Rose's before. She's like, "Oh, what's this?" Like, it's like a whole new world for her.
Yeah,
and she became friends with Emma and
she became friends with Luke and Laura. Got involved with their wedding and became friends with everyone involved in the wedding. And now she's literally friends with like bookies and fences and like everybody.
Which I'm guessing they kept her or the Quartermains maybe even out of that storyline. I guess she must have known of her through Leslie though, because Leslie's been on.
What do you mean?
Luke and Laura, because when she got involved more in their wedding and stuff.
Laura worked at ALQ for a minute. That's how Lila knows her.
Oh, okay. I guess she was what, 16 when she did that?
She was young. Yeah.
So yeah, they're talking about the sports center and all that. Blackie is rude to Rick.
Oh, what
Rick
a
scares him
horrible
off.
first appearance. I was just like, oh, John Stamos, why? It was so annoying.
Eh, it's
Yes.
kind of
He
what
was
I
very
thought.
he was very much like Lou. He was just
Yes.
like his girlfriend in the future.
Well, he wasn't as well. Yeah, I guess so.
He was exactly the same. He was a wild animal and he had his little wild animal flunky friends and then
Yeah.
they all everybody went to the sports center. That's where Joe was supposed to go. He was supposed to go back to the sports center because they all took a break at Kelly's for lunch or dinner or whatever they were doing. And he
Yeah.
didn't go back because Heather was like, I'm naked in your bedroom. And he's like, I got things to do. And she's like, well, I'm gonna hang out here naked in your bedroom until you realize
Yeah.
you want to
Right.
be naked in your bedroom with me. And he went downstairs and he lasted all of 5 seconds. He took one look at Rose and went, yeah, I'm not going. I gotta go. And then they had a really cute scene together, and everyone went back to the sports center, and the sports center was trashed because, of course, it was because this is how the storyline goes.
Of course. Stick and Emma are on, so it was nice to see Stick. It's
Flick,
funny because,
Slicker,
huh? Is it Slick
Slicker.
or Stick?
It's Slicker.
Slick? Oh, Slicker. I
Hmm.
never know what they're saying. It sounds like Stick to me.
It's Slick. Stick is the guy that trains Matt Murdock on Daredevil. That's a different show.
He's also on One Life to Live. Stick is a bad guy that blows up in
Oh,
Lampere.
that's why.
But anyway, Claudia, Brian, and Amy are on. They're helping with the sports center bullshit. Jackie and crew, this is where they make calls to track the Lauras and see what they can find out. Um, Blackie and crew sneak in, which you had mentioned. They spray paint the place and I guess throw things around.
Yep.
At the sports center, we have a lot going on. Steve, Jeremy, and Mike, I guess they're at break or whatever. They have a fun moment. Jeremy insulted Rudy earlier. He's like, "Don't do that to your elders. It's not nice."
Oh, it was funny because Jeremy goes, "Oh, you heard that, did you?" Jeremy's so sassy.
People talk. People talk.
And it was funny because Zach knows and Jeremy both know a lot about boxing. And they started talking to each other about boxing. I'm like, Zach, I didn't know you had any other personality traits. And Steve basically says to Zach, you'll be a good doctor one day if you don't get distracted. And he meant by Anne, because they went on that date when Anne was drunk as crap.
That damn man.
And Zach was like, don't worry, sir, that'll never happen again. So apparently Anne made a terrible impression on Zach.
Yeah.
He is hiding from her.
Rick and crew get back. Blackie goes off. We don't need you here. Oh, no, it was spray painted as we don't need you here, blah, blah, which is what he told them earlier. We don't need the sports center. I guess that's where maybe they did drugs there. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they hung out and gambled or whatever. But he just like,
yeah, it's like
he's
an
like,
abandoned
get out
building,
of
right?
here, blah blah blah. And then Rick picks up the teenager and throws him out, basically.
Yes.
And everybody cheers, and I'm like, that guy just beat up a kid. What?
Yeah. Joe and Heather tell their feelings for each other. He tells her he loves her, and she loves him. Blah blah blah. Sexy time. Emma gets a hold of Gray. We did discuss that already.
Yep.
And then they lost whatever. So then we're on the next episode. Everyone is still working on the sports center. Continue on. Luke thinks he found Laura's photographer. I guess when he went to New York, he like tracked them down. Mel and Laura too were still hiding. I put, what the hell is happening?
Oh, so Luke found out that Mel is in Port Charles. That's what he went to New York with Delphina to find out what was going on. So Delphina took him all over New York.
Which we didn't see her, but we did hear about her.
But he was taken all over New York to all the CD places models hang out, and they couldn't find him. So then they found out that Mel was basically the last person to see her other than Scotty. So they find out that Mel is actually in Port Charles. So Luke comes back to town to catch up with them, and then they're going to go see Mel. Because they're not at Mel's yet.
Right. They don't know exactly where he is. They know he's in Port Charles. They just don't know where.
Right. And then Mel and Laura Templeton are in that loft again, and it's weird.
Jackie's boss calls and wants a story from her. I guess she hasn't been able to work since she's been
She's
looking for her
on
sister.
contract and she's supposed to be dropping off a story a week, and she's doing nothing because her
Uh,
sister's missing. This is kind of
yeah.
leading up to Jackie getting her job at the paper in Port Charles. We're leading
Okay.
to her staying is what we're doing.
So she's most likely going to get fired.
Well, she's in breach of contract right now, so she can easily be fired at this point.
Right, yeah. So I guess she missed the story. She's like, oh, I can get you a really good story. I guess this Laura story is what she's going to give them.
Yes, she should
Um,
be writing up this story
yeah,
because it is weird.
right?
The Miss
And I
Star
feel
Eyes
like
missing person story. Why didn't she start with that and send a little expose about that?
I agree. Yeah, like I feel like if she would have put out a story, maybe that would have helped them. If you
Yeah,
see,
it would
I
have.
guess they don't really have a picture of him yet, but they could tell what's going on.
But they would have been like mysterious disappearance, blah blah blah. They could have done a little beat on it and then extended it into a full story once she got the information. Now I know
And
Luke would have hated that,
also,
but who cares what Luke thinks? To be honest,
and also said like if you're Laura and you're blonde, you might not want to leave your house. So we figure
Mhm.
out what's going on.
Yeah, seems to be these Laura's, and then you could do a cool
Yeah.
story about how is it connected? Why did the one girl get hit by a car accident or involvement? Blah blah blah.
All right. Gray creeps around in these episodes. Brian and Amy spread the word about
About
the
what?
sports center
Okay.
being trashed. They were just at the hospitals talking and stuff.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, "Oh, that must have been so disappointing," and they're like, "Yeah, but we started over. Yeah, it was."
Lana gets an offer from a conglomerate that wants to buy the mansion for $2.4 million. And now all of a sudden she's like, I need time. Uh,
Well, because she doesn't really want to sell the house. She just wants
duh.
Alan to be upset about her selling the house because
Yeah,
they are like the most dysfunctional best couple ever.
that's why she peed herself laughing when she said put the sign back out there and he just like
Yeah,
looked at her.
yeah.
She just cracked up.
I love their relationship. To be honest, it's fun.
I mean, it is fun.
Messed
It's
up.
a good time. It is. It's definitely a fun time.
Mhm.
Alan tells Alan just tells Monica to sell the house. He don't care, which is we know what happens in a minute. Um, Blackie gives Rick and Leslie a hard time. Apparently, he got beat up by this person, Durnley. I don't know if this is true.
Durnley is the mobster guy who owns the building that they're renting.
Oh, so that would make sense then.
Yeah,
So I feel like
we've
we might
seen
have
him
missed an
multiple times.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
we
might have
did.
been missing
We did.
episodes. Yeah.
I
Um,
think they roughed him up because the sports center. See, the problem with the sports center is like it gets confusing because they only talk about it like once a month, and then we have to remember what happened. But like with the sports center, remember he's Durnley is screwing them over because he's renting it to them for cheap because he wants them to do all the work to fix it up, and then he's going to swipe it out from underneath them because they won't be able to pay for it. So he doesn't want it to be trashed by the neighborhood, as they call them hilariously, toughs. So he doesn't want them to trash his investment. So he sent his guys to rough up Blackie. Is what
Blackie and
Blackie is
crew.
telling, yeah, and his little crew of hooligans.
I think Tiffany's starting to get jealous of Jackie.
You think?
She she complains to Rose about her, but then she acts like she's her friend when Jackie comes in. I guess because Laura's going through it, or not Laura. Jackie's going through it with Laura too missing. Um, Meanwhile, Laura too is alone with, and Gray comes over and she freaks out, and he like hypnotizes her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess with his third eye. Did they show it?
I don't understand. He
He
just
just like
started.
grabbed her face or
He
something. It was just
he
like,
did that Jedi mind trick stuff. He was just like,
yeah.
"You don't remember the project," and she's like, "I don't remember the project," and I'm like, "What is happening right now?" He didn't
And
even use his weird ring.
the words he gave her is star and sapphire, and I'm like, is that supposed to like make?
Reference Laura.
Well, no, is it supposed to be like words that like make it her memory come back if somebody
Mhm.
says them?
Trigger words, yeah. You'd have to
Oh,
say them
interesting.
together, not like one at a time. You'd have to say
Yeah, star sapphire.
them.
Um, Rick threatens dude about beating up the kids.
Sternly.
Right.
Mhm.
Is that who that was?
Yes, that's Sternly. He's been on
Um,
multiple times, but I think they recast him because this doesn't look like the same guy.
yeah, it doesn't. Um, Gail and Dan talk about Ruby needing a hysterectomy.
Okay, so can we talk about how they called it? What did he call it? He didn't call it a hysterectomy at first. He called it internal woman problems.
Oh yeah,
And I was like, is she getting a hysterectomy? And then like they kept asking questions until he finally said hysterectomy. And it was funny because they go back and forth about this, but like when Bradshaw's like, oh, it's not a problem. It's not like she can have kids or wants to have kids. So who cares if we give her a hysterectomy? And everybody else is like, that's major surgery, Dr. Bradshaw. It's not just that.
yeah, right.
Like they don't just
And
walk in
yeah,
and they're scooping all your organs out.
and I guess Ruby is doing the surgery.
Yeah,
She's still there,
she wasn't going to do the surgery, and then because Dan talked to her about it, Dan was really upset that she didn't want to do the surgery,
and
and
she doesn't want to tell Luke because she doesn't want to make it worse for him
right,
because he's going through Laura drama.
yeah, so she doesn't want him waiting at the hospital for her when he needs to be out looking for Laura, which is self-sacrificing and stupid. You're going in for major surgery, you need your family behind you.
Right.
And also
I like,
Bobby's in New York. I like that they mentioned her.
yeah, that, and I like that they're writing for the elders. Like
Hmm.
it's nice to see. Like Lila, we had, and it's nice, and Dan even.
Yeah, and even you've got Jesse and Georgia and a
Yeah,
lot of the
Jesse
older
and
cast
Georgia
are
were
on.
on.
I
They
love
do a
them.
good job, and Steve and Audrey, which is
I love
coming
that
up.
Steve and Audrey have a storyline because I love Steve so much. Steve is just that guy that's just all around a good dude. And
I'm
like
so
he
upset
just
with this. Well, we'll get into it in a minute. I
okay.
think that's like the last thing, so I'm wondering where it's going to go. Well, I
I
guess
don't know. I was having
we
fun
kind
with
of
it.
know because as we watch 1983, um, but I want to know how it gets resolved at least. Monica tells Gail that she changed her mind.
Oh,
Um,
really? You changed your mind about selling the house? Monica,
says
why?
she says she wants all the money or no deal because she knows she's not going to get all the money.
Right, right.
Amy
She's like,
harasses Monica, which I thought was funny.
yeah.
Being Amy. Alan confronts her and he mentions it being $2.4 million, but she
Hmm.
didn't tell anybody how much it was. So how'd you find that? You're the conglomerate.
Yep. He is. They're now fully messing with each
But the
other.
best, I know, it's so funny though because he like denies it for like a minute and then he's like, yeah, whatever. What are you gonna do about it? Like he's just like,
They really like
he's like, Quartermains always get what we want. And then he walks towards her. And Monica just looks so pissed. She's just like, "Ugh."
they're so stupid because what they want is each other, the dum dums.
I know. It's like, yeah, it's like one of them. You just want them to have hate sex or something. Like, just
Well,
take
because
her in the
they
lounge.
love each other. That's the whole thing is like they love each other, but they love each other in a way that like they find each other like the most annoying people in the world, but they're in love. It's
Right.
so messed up how much they care about each other. They would
It is.
definitely be like in an open marriage. If this were the couple today, they would both be they would be happy and they'd
Yes.
be in an open marriage and their drama
I
would be about
highly,
their extra partners.
right. I highly recommend that for them.
Yeah.
They could have been the first couple that did that.
I know it's
And
a
that, but
shame.
then
That would have been so cool.
we probably would have no drama though if that
No,
happened.
no, the
So.
drama would be about like how a member of their polycule accidentally murdered somebody, but they don't know which one. It would be like
Right.
crazy. It would be crazy polyamorous shenanigans. It would be so fun.
So Luke, oh yeah, all right, so that Mel gets back, mentions David. Laura too knows nothing. She don't remember anything as
Good.
David lurks
She's
in
like,
the
I don't know
wherever
who
he's
that
at.
is. And he's like, what about the project? She's like, what project? What are we talking about? And he's like, what the hell happened to you? I was gone for 10 minutes.
It's crazy. So
Plot
in
thickens.
the February 1st episode, we get like 10 minutes of stuff. Rick and Leslie mainly. This is the Rick and Leslie lover.
Good for them.
But I don't think they cut. I don't think this person specifically cut. I think this is just what's out there because I don't think these
But
episodes are around
sometimes
anywhere.
episodes get interrupted by the news, and that's
That
all
yeah.
you get.
They talk about Blackie, the leader of the gang. I guess he was Leslie and Claudia. Claudia's on. Brian comes in. They say, oh, they suspect Blackie in this in Lauren's disappearance, which I thought was an interesting way to go.
I thought that was completely out of left field and had nothing to do with anything except that he is sometimes on the docks and a street tough.
Right. And then somebody found. Oh, did he have Laura's purse? I forget how it was
Yeah,
found.
they found Laura's purse, but they found it on the ground, and then they took the money out of it, and then they threw it in the garbage, which is exactly what teenagers would do. So
And they made Blackie dig in the garbage
he's like,
and
"Hey,
find
man, you want me to
her
go and show you the garbage?" I was like,
and
"Oh my
find her
god,
wallet.
dude,
Um,
young John
and
Stamos, what a little cutie."
he is. His hair is so pretty.
Yeah, very feathered, very nice.
Yeah, and it's not even that as feathered as it gets, throughout
Yeah, it
his
gets
run.
worse. It gets worse. It gets way more feathered, but he does
It
look
gets
really
more
good.
amazing and
Sure,
more
sure.
Pantene. Um, if he didn't do shampoo commercials, I'd be very upset. I gotta look for that. He
If
better
you
have.
do, you got to insert it because we need to see at least a clip of him in a Pantene commercial.
Seriously. Alan checks out the sports center. Edward comes. He's there. Get a little Edward moment. I think he's on it for like 2 seconds.
It's because he accidentally delivered an exercise bike to the sports center. It was
Oh
supposed to go
yeah,
to him. And he was
right.
going to take it back, and Alan kind of knew that, so he guilt tripped him. And then Edward ended up giving 2 bicycles
2 bikes.
and a
Yes.
pair, but he was going to take this one because that's the one he ordered for himself. So obviously they're getting
Right.
cheap ones. And then they said, you could get, he's like, and also, why don't you get us a set of boxing gloves like Alan does? And he's like, okay, sure. And they're like, how about 2 sets, 2 bikes and 2 sets of boxing gloves? And Edward's like, make a note to his associate. What's that guy's name? Randall? What?
Randall, yes.
And then Randall hits on,
Wait.
no, go
Well,
ahead.
wait. So Anne comes, and then she has her surgical RN degree because remember she was
Yay. It
told
wasn't
that
signed
she,
yet.
yeah. And then Randall asks her out. In the end of that 10-minute clip that we had,
It
a
was
lot
so
happened in that
funny.
10 minutes.
He's like, would you go out with me tonight? And she's like, can I take a rain check on tonight? And he's like, what about the night after tonight? And she's like, oh, yes. And I was like, hey, Randall, way to get in there.
And she had a date that night.
Well,
Single lady, nothing wrong with that.
single, she can do whatever she
She,
wants.
I mean, she has a lot of bad luck with men, but what are you gonna do?
It's true. It's true. I wish the best for Anne, but she's a hot mess when it comes to dating.
So the last episode is where we had the Audrey and Steve drama. So Ruby's getting ready for her surgery. Rick and Audrey discuss Laura's disappearance. Vivian, this lady, comes to the hospital, which I swear this lady's in a Charlie's Angels episode. I recognize her face. And she wants to see Steve. Audrey sees them together and like runs out. And you're just like, what? What's
They
happening?
hugged. They hugged, and they mentioned a medical conference that they both went to, and Audrey got the wrong idea.
And Audrey was like across the way, wasn't she?
Yeah, but she heard the name of
Yeah.
the lady, and like it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. Luke's sad that they can't find Laura still. He's still sulking around.
Me too. I'm sad that they can't find Laura.
Well, she gone, girl. She gone.
I love her.
Well, you got her currently.
And I love her, and she looks great.
She does. Vivian praises Steve for having a great hospital. He shows her all around. She's like, everything's great here. I don't know. Is she supposed to be like coming here? It almost seems like she
No,
might be.
she was in town for a medical conference, and they knew each other from a previous the one he went to at Christmas time. He went to a medical conference, and when he came back,
where he disappeared, and when Dr. Rudy took over.
Yeah, when Dr. Bradshaw was in charge of the hospital.
Yes,
he was at the medical conference, and now it's coming out that this is the woman he was hanging around at the medical conference, and Audrey seems to think that he had an affair with this woman.
I guess. Yeah. And then so Steve's looking for Audrey, and Georgia's like, "Oh, she's gone. She ran out of here."
But that's the thing. Audrey paged Steve to meet her at the nurse's stand so they could go to coffee together. So, like, Steve is bewildered. He is like, "What? I've been through the entire hospital. Where the hell is my wife?" Didn't she say she wanted to meet for coffee? And George is like, yeah. And then she dipped. I don't know what happened. And he's like, where is my wife? And they're like, have you tried calling the house? And he calls the house and it's busy.
But that's why I'm like mad at Audrey. Go stand up and be like, what is happening? Like she should just went over and be like, what is going on with this lady? Like if you're that, like if you
It's
think,
insecurities, I think. But like, I know I agree with
yeah,
you. That
she
was a really weird way to react to that scenario.
weird. So okay, so we'll get it gets worse. So he calls her. She gets upset on the phone. He hangs up on her, or she hangs up on him.
Yep.
Um, Ruby's worried that she'll cause problems for Luke, so she wants to keep it hush hush. We know how this goes.
Hysterectomy.
Everybody always does this shit, and we all hate it.
Yep.
Just tell people. It's so annoying. Like if you don't, 'cause then people get mad at you for it.
I'm gonna tell you,
For what?
if I'm ever going into surgery, I'll just text you. I'll be like, hey man, major surgery. Wish me luck.
Like seriously, would you get out of the hospital and be like, oh, I had a heart transplant? And you'd be like, whatever. I would have sent you flowers.
Damn.
But anyway, um, Robert practices that magic act with Tiffany. I don't know what their plan is with this.
Oh,
Are they trying to get
for,
David Gray?
no, it's for the Haunted Star when they open the cabaret.
I'm surprised they're even going through with this with Laura.
They still got to pay that doc fees for
That's true. Yeah. That's true. So it seems like Audrey left Steve. She like packs the bag and leaves. You're just like, what?
Jesse's.
Right. Luke goes to question Laura 3. Tiffany worries about Laura. She's like, that was a really cute moment. She's like my only friend, like the only real friend that I have.
I think
It was just a nice to see that in her.
It was a really pretty scene. I also liked how she talked to Robert about Robert's basically neglecting her, and she wants to know where she stands with Robert, and he's like, we're friends, what the hell? And I think he thinks they're friends and she thinks they're dating, and they are somewhere in between that. And like now he's been flirting with Jackie nonstop, and I think that's where they're going.
I think he looks at it like friends with benefits, and yeah, she I feel like is falling for him, and it just isn't working.
And I think it's not fair to her because in a lot of ways, like he accidentally leads her on all the time, even though
he definitely is, because even during that, he's like, "What do you mean?" And he like kisses her or something. I'm like,
yeah, he's like, we're friends, and he hugs her. But like, I'm proud of Tiffany for telling him how she's feeling and how her emotions are in that moment. And also she says like she's lived in this world where she's never been able to have another female friend because they've always been backstabby. Like how she was interacting with Jackie is how she thinks women interact. Laura comes from a different background where Laura is like surrounded by women and is like, she's really great with women. Like she has a lot of girlfriends and like they're not catty to each other. I hate that term, but you know what I mean. And
they also bonded on the island for the
so Tiffany's real true first girlfriend is missing, and so she feels unsupported. She feels like Robert's pulling away, Luke is distracted, and she's alone. And she actually gets up the courage to tell Robert that, and he reassures her the best he can. But like Robert's emotionally unavailable, and he has been forever.
Yeah, because something clicked when he met Jackie. Like it almost looked like he was just like, I like this girl. Like
he was pretty hot for teacher as soon as
it seemed like it right from the get go, which is not good.
Smart, she's funny, and like he always teases Tiffany about just being like a homegrown actress, and like Jackie is a self-made woman. That's kind of attractive to him as a ex-spy guy.
So Audrey goes to Jesse's to stay with her. Apparently,
that's like, can't you just talk to your husband?
Right. Apparently, Vivian spent 2 weeks with Steve in New York, and she suspects an affair. She has no proof as far as we've seen.
So the information she has is that Steve, instead of booking a single, booked a double, and that at one point she met another doctor that Steve met at that medical conference, and that doctor asked if she was Vivian. So this leads Audrey to believe that he booked a double because he was having an affair, and the woman he was having an affair with is the woman that showed up at the hospital. This is all insane. She should have talked to her husband instead of jumping to a bunch of crazy conclusions because one doctor one time forgot the name of Steve's wife and just named another doctor they knew.
Right. Or even if she had gone over and been like, "Is this the woman you had an affair with?" When you're like, some like confronted at least, where she just ran.
Didn't have to do
But
it in front of Vivian. Could have went over and met Vivian and
right,
given Steve a chance to introduce her. And then when they were at home, been like, "Is that the woman you had an affair with in New York?" And have
right.
Steve be like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, I know, and I feel like I wonder if this is this like going somewhere
I don't remember this.
else. Yeah, like I'm confused.
I think I don't know.
Um,
Maybe it's just a moment for Steve and Audrey to kind of like recenter their relationship because they are kind of settled into a marriage, and maybe she thinks that they're too settled into their marriage, and now he's going to start cheating on her. She's had a rough history. Remember, like she's had a rough history. She didn't go from just having one nice relationship to the other. She's been cheated on. She's been
yeah.
sexually assaulted. She's had a lot happen to her.
Um, the cops are looking for whoever hit Laura number three. It was a hit and run.
Yeah, Bert shows
Um,
up to ask questions.
yeah. I wonder. I'm guessing it was Gray.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
We
confused
don't
with
know
the
anything.
storyline.
It doesn't make any sense yet. You
We
don't
know nothing.
stop trying to puzzle out the information they haven't given us yet. We
I
don't know
can't.
anything. We're so in the dark. Also, is
um,
it like was he just looking for Laura Templeton and he just started hitting blonde girls with his car and they all just happened to be named Laura?
I don't know.
What's happening right
Um,
now?
Steve calls Jesse. Jesse's like, "Audrey, don't want to talk to you." I'm like, "What the hell?"
Steve was like, "Why?
Um,
Why?"
uh, Luke fills. I think Luke and is it Jack? Yeah, Luke and Jackie fill Tiffany and Robert in on Laura three, whatever they talked about. Um,
They just talked about her not knowing who hit her and not
and
knowing if it was related and her being from the countryside and not knowing anything about anything.
and it just ends with them going to look for David Gray wherever. I don't know where they're gonna look,
I
but
don't know. They just think they need to continue looking for him. He's the link for everything. He is. They're right.
well,
The link for what?
he's always lurking. I feel like a good idea would probably just be like dress like a bum and lay on the pier and like just
But
maybe he'll
I
pop
don't think
up.
they have any idea that he's always lurking. Like we know so much more than they do, and we know nothing. So it's like
Well,
they
they
don't know.
know. Don't I thought they knew that he was after all the like both of the Lauras.
No, they're guessing. They're making up
Oh,
theories.
they're guessing.
They don't know anything. They're trying to put the pieces together. They're trying to link all three Lauras and find out what they have in common other than being blonde and having the same name. And
So
they
they're
don't
just as
really have
confused as
much.
we are.
Yeah, they don't know anything either. And Jackie, like, it's funny though. I get what Luke was saying though. When her sister wrote her a letter, said she was fine, and to stop looking for her. And like, that's such a typical like guy thing to be like, she said she's fine. We don't need to look into that any further. And Jackie's like,
Right.
why would she write this weird note that doesn't make any sense and doesn't sound like the way she leaves me notes? Why didn't she call me? And Luke's like, oh, well, case closed. My wife's still missing. Let's get on that. And she's like, but my sister, I still haven't seen my sister. This is crazy. But it is
Yeah.
funny the way it was handled. And I do like that. Robert is the one that believed her. Robert tends to be like the better friend to women than, than Luke is.
Right.
Like, even in this,
So
Martha tried to be so nice to Luke, and he was like snapping at her at Kelly's, and I'm like, don't yell at Martha. She's just trying to get you coffee, bro. Like,
so is this the end of Laura, or is there like one more time that we actually see something happen to her that you know
I
of,
don't,
or you don't know?
I don't think so because I don't think they know. Spoiler alert for 30 years in the future. I don't think they know that she was kidnapped by the Cassinians, even though they floated that idea. I think they make it seem as if Laura had died. I don't quote me on that though, because
They
it's
had to because I remember because that's why Luke, when he meets Holly and all that,
yeah.
he says that his wife died.
I don't think
I
he said
thought,
she died. I think he says she disappeared and they never found her. So like I think he
uh,
thinks she's dead.
I must have made something up in my head because I swear somebody said like something with a cliff or something, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm
Well, we're
crazy.
gonna find out. Um,
Maybe
when
I've just seen too many things where people go off cliffs,
they're going
like
off the
Anne from Peyton Place.
parapet.
She went off the cliff.
You mean Catherine Bell? She went off the parapet twice.
And we'll never know who killed her because we're still in this trial. 25 episodes in season
Listen,
3.
we don't even
Um,
know if she's dead because everyone survives being thrown off the parapet. Everyone
yeah.
does. They all survive. Um,
Oh yeah, that too. Well, and didn't off of the one cliff, but whatever.
I think this is like a okay, listen. I'm mad that Jeannie Francis left the show because I love her, but like if it was for the best thing for her to do, obviously I'm going to support that 100%. But at the same time, I think they're doing a good job of keeping our attention and not letting the Laura storyline die out too quickly. Like this has been very weird and confusing, but I'm not bored.
So yeah, this is the time. So when Jeannie Francis left, she did not. She was not hard up for work because the woman she did that TV miniseries called Bare Essence that year that she
Mhm.
left, and she did reappear, I think, on 2 different times on General Hospital after that. She was also Angela Fletcher's niece on
On
Murder
Murder,
She
She
Wrote.
Wrote. She was on multiple times, yeah.
She was in a Perry Mason movie, The Return of Perry Mason.
I like that
She
movie.
was she was in Days of Our Lives, Loving, All My Children, all in between before she went back to GH full time in '93. So
I,
she did a
I
lot
think
of stuff.
too. I think too. Like a lot of the attention that you get, like back then, especially the attention you would get as one half of a super couple, could
Right.
be overwhelming for people as young as they were when these things were happening. Because she's what like she might be 20 at this point. You know,
Yeah.
she came on, what was she, 77, right? So she's been on for a while. She came on as a young girl. She might not even be 20 years old yet. And like the attention, the worldwide attention, that's got to do something to you.
Right.
Because this blew up. Like this Luke Laura thing blew up and it was like enormous. It's still one of the most popular
Yeah.
things to ever happen. So maybe it was just the need to leave the role and do something else.
Yeah. It's still the craziest thing. 'Cause I feel like if it were me, like being even like working for like ABC or something, I'd be like, you find a way to keep that girl. I don't care what you got to do. You keep her on at least for another year because they're hot.
Do you think it's like hindsight's 2020 and that like the show just
Probably.
figured, oh, they were hot, we'll make another couple hot and no one will care in a
Right.
year type nonsense.
Probably.
And the thing is, isn't it worth it? Because the storyline, like when she comes back and then when she comes back and then she comes back again in the 90s, led to some of the greatest storylines and some of the characters that I really love being introduced. Like we wouldn't have Nicholas if they didn't do this storyline. I love Nicholas.
Right.
And we
I'm
wouldn't have like
excited this.
Stefan and all them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her come back in '83 because I don't know what she does, and I'm assuming she'll come back pregnant with someone, with
Well,
Nicholas.
no, she's
I'm
not pregnant
assuming.
when she comes back. She's not pregnant when she comes back. She's already had the baby.
Oh, did she?
She already had Nicholas by the time she. Remember,
I
that's
guess that makes sense.
retconning. That's retconning, kids, because she just came back and they never said anything about it. But then years later, it turns out when she was in captivity, she had a baby that she had to abandon because when she came back, she and Luke ran off together.
uh, so they don't say it. So yeah, so she comes, disappears, I guess, early '82, and comes back at the end of '83, and then again in '84. So
I
yeah.
think when she leaves, before they come back in the 90s, is they do say that she's pregnant with Lucky
Hmm.
because they get
And
have.
then I know she had her 2 kids in the '90s, so I guess Lulu was a
She
real
had
pregnancy as
she
well.
oh well she had Lulu, yeah, when she came back, she was pregnant, I think, and she had Lulu.
Okay.
And then Lulu had the medical issues which led to the discovery of Nicholas and that storyline coming out.
Uh,
So all of that happens in the 90s. And that's kind of what damages Luke and Laura's relationship and then leads to mean writers breaking up my couple.
mean writers. I'm guessing, yeah, I'm excited because like I'm in 1993 now. I forget where we're at because I can't keep track. Maybe April, March of 893. So they don't come back until I think September of '93. But I'm excited to see that stuff.
Oh, it's so much fun. Wait till she like they jump out of an airplane. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I got a lot of fun stuff because
I love
Kevin
it.
comes then too.
Oh,
So
Kevin's
I'll
my
get
I love
I'll get
Kevin.
to see Kevin and Lucy fall in love and all that stuff.
Kevin and Lucy, I'm still mad that they broke them up. And I like Kevin with Laura, so I'm not going to complain about it, but they were such a good couple. They were such a powerhouse on Port Charles. And they just kept breaking them up and putting them back together. And it's like they never should have broken up. They were a good couple. They balanced
I feel
each
like
other
they just do that with every soap now. I feel like there's no couples that have been together longer than a year. Like it's just crazy.
I like when, like, with Monica and Alan, eventually they kind of settled them down to the point where, like, they had their drama together instead of against each other. And I like when that happens, when the couple
Right,
finally
same.
finds their footing and then they're just like, it's them against the world. And I love that
Right.
dynamic. And you're like, you're right. We get that so rarely now.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of a couple that's like I mean, Days has a lot of couples that are still together from years ago, but I feel
General
like
Hospital has Felicia and Mac.
so they're the only ones. And they're not together right now in 1993. They're working on it, but
Yeah.
they're not
Well,
together.
they have, you'll notice they have really bad communication issues. And
Yes.
Felicia is stubborn and Mac is overprotective and it leads to a lot of arguments. So they both have to like learn to understand each other. That's how that couple becomes solid. Plus, there's
So
always the looming nightmare of Frisco.
okay. So do you know the stuff coming up in 82 or you don't remember like what's coming up?
I know what's coming up with the Sports Center storyline.
Okay.
There's boxers. Amy gets a love interest for 5 minutes.
Kind of funny that this parallels because like right now we're getting into the Sports Center in 82 and then in 93 where I'm at Jagger is just starting to box. So I'm like, so this is like the same Sports Center that I'm watching just
Uh-huh.
come to fruition in 1982.
Yeah,
So it's kind of cool to see. And then I'm gonna get like a boxer storyline in that year, and then
yeah.
this one with Jagger. So it's
There's
kind of funny.
Yeah, there's going to be a boxing storyline, and I'm assuming it's going to be the like throw the fight or you'll get beat up and we'll murder your
Yeah,
family because they do that storyline a lot in the 80s as well. Um,
yeah. I'm assuming it's gonna. Well, we know that one dude when we started watching when Holly came back. That one dude was on maybe one or two times the one that Amy got involved with. I can't remember his name.
it's Joe or Johnny, something like that.
Probably Johnny because we already have Joe on, so it's probably Johnny.
Yeah, so I know that's happening. Monica and Alan
Yeah,
are probably going to
which
end up back together.
I'm excited to see that because at least we'll see more Amy and Amy actually have a love interest, and probably this is her only
I
one.
feel like this is her only one. I don't ever remember Amy being. And you know what is really upsetting about that was at Laura's wedding, she was so upset that she wasn't getting married, and she never does. And it's
Aw.
like that's such a shame because like it's something that she wanted that she didn't get. And I always thought that was kind of unfair because Amy is such a lovable character, and they just
I wonder why they didn't write for her because they could have had a fun, quirky couple with like how they wrote for like Emma on Falcon Crest or
yeah, and
Calliope on
I
Days.
feel like it's the same situation scenario you would have with like Lucy. You have a character, you have the
Right.
quirky female character like Amy, and then you get a
Well, okay.
stabilizing man for her. You know,
Right.
somebody who's like more grounded, more down to earth, and then you have like a ridiculous love story.
Yeah.
They did the same thing in reverse when they did Diane and was it what's Max? When they did Diane and Max, that was a cute
Oh,
storyline.
yeah. I like that too. And then it just fizzled out.
Well, he's left the show. He was doing something else, but at the same time, I thought that they were the best breakup ever for real life because they were like, "Oh yeah, we're still friends. It just didn't work out because of location." You know,
Yeah.
they weren't even angry with each other. So at any point, if they brought him back, they could put them back together. And I liked
All right.
they had what was it? Milo ended up dating Epiphany, didn't he?
Yes.
That was cute too.
Yeah, that was fun. It wasn't long, but it was fun.
I know they never put enough effort into the things that I think they
No, they
do.
really don't. Like I like Scotty and Obrex, and
Yeah.
Obrex out
I thought they were
pretty much.
perfect for each other because they're both morally gray characters, although mostly
Yeah,
is like straight up evil. But
right. That's why I thought it would work out too between them.
I remember talking to Kathleen Gotti and she thought the storyline with what's his name? Peter was too far with the cabin. And I was like, no, it didn't go far enough.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I like when people are held captive by fun, crazy people
Me too. That's always my favorite. And I know in real life that would
because
be like insane, but like it's a soap.
because it could but it could be either boring or fun, and I thought that was fun.
I kind of hope that this year we get a better storyline for Scotty because he's just kind of lingering right now.
Mm,
Like he needs something to do.
yeah, it's a shame. Bring Obrecht back.
No, I
Give
meant
him
in
something to do.
82, but yeah,
Oh, in
sure.
82.
He's not doing it.
Yes, I got you. In 82, totally, he's not doing
And
anything.
in
Which
the current timeline, he should just come on.
he does a lot of other work in 80s though. Like I remember, I think he does another soap called Rituals. Like it was like a primetime soap or something that me and Tommy keep looking for, but can't find it
Guys,
anywhere.
if you have a copy of Rituals, I need to see it because I love Ken Steiner. So you need to get that to me.
Yeah, there might be like one episode on YouTube or something, but like that's it.
I would like it. If you
I
know where it is,
know.
so you have it on a VHS tape, call me. I got a VCR and I'm ready to watch it.
So anything else to say about these episodes that we watched?
I think I had a really good time. I think the storylines are keeping me interested. I didn't feel like the episodes were long or slow or anything. I felt the pacing
No.
was really good. Um,
Yeah.
the storyline with Steve and Audrey came out of nowhere, and I'm kind of excited
Yes.
to see where it goes. Like that was just like a punch to the face that moment.
Right. No. I was like, what is happening with them? What's going on? Well, with her. But
Yeah,
Steve's just like, nothing's happening. Everything's great in my life. And then she's like, I hate you. I'm running away.
yeah. And Jesse's like, you can stay here as long as you want, but like, what the hell? And I was like,
And,
shut
Je-
the audience.
and Jesse has a house. I was like, oh, it was nice to
I think
see.
Jesse's in the brownstone. I think she might own the brownstone.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I know Bobby eventually owns the brownstone. And then I don't know what happens to it after that. I think Michael acquires it at some point. It
Well,
goes around the
I
family.
guess probably see Tiffany and stuff get it because doesn't Tiffany and who else lives there? Jackie and Laura or something? I forget.
A lot of people. Well, they all move into an apartment together, but I'm not sure where that is.
Oh, I thought that was the brownstone.
I don't know if
I
that's
thought Tiffany lived in the brownstone at one point,
she did
but maybe
with
not.
Sean.
Oh, so later, I guess.
Yeah, later.
Oh, okay. All right, well, if that's all you got. I'll end this episode.
It's all I got.
Um,
I think it was great. I had a good time.
it
More
was
Monica and
definitely a
Alan.
good
I needed more
time.
Monica and Alan.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun Monica moments for sure. Um, so thank you for joining us today at Queers and Soaps. Subscribe, like, and comment. We liked the comments on our last one were very fun. There was not a lot of Jackie lovers. One,
I know a lot of people don't like Jackie. Is she?
one of them said that they felt like Jackie was being shoved in their faces. I don't.
Oh, I get that.
I Yeah, I get it, but I don't feel that way. Like it
I
didn't feel that way to me.
maybe because she came in really hot,
She did
and
come in
then
hot.
she was suddenly in every part of the storyline. So I get what they're saying. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it because I think the storyline necessitates that happen.
Yeah, I think it's definitely needed for the storyline for sure.
I also think she was a day player that they decided to make into a real character because I think that interview with Laura early on, I think they were testing the character.
Yeah. So yeah, keep the comments coming. Let us know what you liked, what you hated. Whatever. Who your favorite couple is. Did you like Luke and Laura? Did you think Luke is bipolar?
What is
Um, what do you think? Um, thank you for joining us today, and have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.